Welcome to the new and improved Ares Expedition. Bigger, better, co-op, 5 to 6 players. Let's check it out. Welcome back to the Meeple Marathon. Today we are taking a look at 3 expansions for Ares Expedition, including the 4th goodie in this Kickstarter, which is the kind of store it all Kickstarter exclusive box. So here is the box, and the 3 expansions are inside. We have the Discovery expansion, Foundations, and Crisis. So I believe it's Discovery is adding kind of rewards, milestones, things like that, new ways to score. Foundations, I believe, is the 5 to 6 player expansion, and I know that Crisis is the co-op expansion. That's the one I'm most excited about, along with a bigger box. So here is the box that we're about to open. Here is, just for a side-by-side comparison, the original box. So much bigger footprint and easily like an inch taller. This is going to hold everything that's in here, plus everything that's already in there. So let's take a look at what we got here. Very exciting, very exciting. All right, Kickstarter exclusive. This Kickstarter version of Ares Expedition expansion comes with some revised components for the base game based on feedback we received from the game's fans. Alright, so some clear cubes, narrower tray cubes, an updated game board, and 6 promotional corporation cards. I believe they also updated or upgraded the phase cards too. So there we go. Okay, so here is a rulebook for Discovery. Here is a rulebook for Crisis. And I pulled 2 out at once. Here is the rulebook for Foundations. So Foundations contains additional player boards, cubes, and phase cards, so that Ares Expedition can be played with up to 6 players. Great for large groups. Discovery adds 4 new mechanics to the base game: awards, milestones, upgraded phase cards, and wild tags. So maybe the upgraded phase cards are not meant to be used in everything here. Let's see. Upgraded phase cards function the same as normal phase cards, except they have better bonuses. Okay. Alright. We'll see how that goes. And Crisis turns it into co-op. This is easily the thicker of the... This rulebook's probably twice as thick as the other ones. So we've got some punch-outs here. These are the milestones and awards. I'm assuming these are Crisis tokens here. Some more milestones and rewards. Alright, and then we've got some new ocean tiles. I believe these are the ones that you have to use with the Crisis. I don't know how you're really supposed to tell them apart, but there you go. And we have our Crisis board here. Crisis step: put detriment tokens into play, resolve the persistent effects of all Crisis cards in play, draw a card from the Crisis deck, and resolve it immediately. Draw a card from the dummy hand. Planning step, resolve phases step, end step. Okay, so there's that. Here are our 2 additional player boards. Still the dual layer, everything we loved about the original player boards here. So that's set. And then we've got 2 boards here. So what? Oh, okay. This one's got the water track in the middle, so I'm assuming one of these. Okay. So there's like the scoring track and everything up here on one side, so you can use one board like this, one board like that. Otherwise, other than this appears to be the only thing missing. Maybe this is for... Nope, it's the same number of cubes. This track just goes to 30. And this one goes all the way down to 0. Anyways, there we go. All right, so we've got lots of cards here. That's probably crisis cards, some upgraded phase cards, some dividers, which is very nice because this looks like a decent insert. Quite a few dividers here. Okay, more phase cards. More of those. Or don't worry, we're gonna get into all of this here in just a minute. Here's 2 random clear cubes. Some large reference cards. And then I believe this is the promo pack. Yep, promo pack. So we've got more trays here. Total of 4 trays for the resources. More cubes, black and white cubes, I believe is for the Crisis expansion, and then cubes for the 5 to 6 players, and a bunch of baggies. Let's see, these are a little bent here, but that's all right. Do these come out very easily? Okay, so I mean, these look like they're meant to come out on an individual basis, or else why would they have bothered making these little artistic trays? They are exactly the same, no? And they, yeah, appear to just be 3 identical trays, nothing hidden underneath. So let's take a closer look at some of the cards here. And don't worry, there will be a video, a separate video, showing off how to fit all of this back into this Kickstarter exclusive box. I'm assuming this is not going to be truly exclusive. Eventually you'll be able to purchase it probably directly from Stronghold Games or something like that. So let's take a moment to look at everything broken down by the individual expansions. So what you're seeing here is the components for the Crisis expansion. This is expanding on the cooperative mode of the game. This can be played solo up to 4 people. I don't think you can play this 5 to 6 players. I could be wrong, but we'll take a look at a few things here in a second. So just to give you an overview of what comes with that expansion, in case you are picking this up in retail and all you see on the shelf is a small box Crisis expansion. So you have 4 new organizations. These can be just shuffled in with the other ones, or if you wanted to make sure you were playing with ones that were more thematic to the crises, you could pick one of these 4. You can see here that these interact with these crisis tokens that we'll talk about here in a second. Then you have, depending on whether you're playing solo or 2 to 4 players, you have these dummy hands or solo mode cards. So whichever ones you're playing, essentially these dummy cards, you're going to draw one of these, and this acts as like in a 2-player game, a 3rd player, or in a 3 or 4 player game, you just get this ability. Basically in a 2-player game, everybody could choose this one in addition to this one's already going to fire off. Everybody gets this, but if you wanted the bonus as well, in a 3 to 4 player game, you cannot play this card. But this basically just covers the 5 basic phase cards. Then the solo mode is similar, except you'll see that they're kind of double-sided, top to bottom. So you're actually going to draw 2 of these, and then you're going to flip them like so. And you could even have, say, 2 productions going, and you're going to go through both of these. So say you drew these 2 cards, and you would say, all right, I want to have a development, a production, and maybe you yourself do construction in the middle to get that bonus. So those are the 3 phases. It always gives you essentially 3 phases to work through in each round, because this is, again, a timed round, similar to the solo mode or the cooperative mode. So here we have a specific set of ocean tiles that are to be used for the crisis mode, and really I don't know if the bonuses are different, but what you'll notice is that the bonuses are on both sides. So you're actually going to start the game. This is almost like reverse terraforming. You're going to start the game where everything has been terraformed, everything is good, but a meteor has struck the planet and everything's going backwards. So all of these are going to be flipped up to their ocean side, and you're going to be instructed when crises happen to flip them back over. So I'm pretty sure you get your choice. This way you can flip over what you may want to then get the bonus for flipping back over to the ocean side down the road. Hopefully that makes sense. Also, VP here, normally your VP is just tracked on your cards and you count it all up at the end of the game. In this mode, your VP you can actually spend to help remove crisis tokens and possibly get rid of crisis cards. So anytime you would gain a VP, you're just going to simply take this token here, and then it's going to go over here above this board. You have this VP bank. This is where your crisis deck is going to sit. It's just a simple reminder of the new steps that you go through, but you can bank. All of you can bank your VP up here and then spend it accordingly, because this isn't about scoring the most victory points. This is about, you know, keeping the planet from going under, basically. And then the last thing we have here are these tokens. These are crisis tokens that are going to go on these cards we're going to look at here in just a second. And you'll have to remove these to be able to remove the card from play. And then these three things here are the, you know, the oceans, the temperature, and the oxygen levels. If, again, they're going down, so if they reach the yellow area, you're going to put these whichever one of these into play, and if they enter the red area, you'll flip them over. These are all like passive negative abilities that you have to deal with. And then last but not least, well, not last, because these are just reference cards covering the different steps. You basically have added the crisis step ahead of the planning step, and then a little bit of an extra thing you can do during the end step. Other than that, it's pretty much the same. Your planning step is going to involve, you know, these dummy cards. Actually, it says it during the crisis step. Flip over the dummy cards. But the big thing here is this very decent sized deck of crisis cards. Now, these are all broken down into player count. So that's the biggest reason why this one is so big. There's a whole set of crisis cards for solo, a whole set of crisis cards for 2 players. Let's just check here, 3 players, and then I'm thinking, yeah, this is only going to go up to 4. So as of right now, crisis mode cannot be played in 6-player mode. But essentially what you're going to do is you're going to stack your deck so that, you know, you're getting tier 1 cards at the beginning and tier 5 cards at the end. They will obviously increase and get worse. And then there's this one, where is it? Tier 4. So this is the one card. Once this one comes out, so it's going to be near the bottom, you know, 3/4 of the deck, or bottom quarter of the deck. Once this one comes out, you are able to, if you can get everything back up to its original, you know, full state, oceans, oxygen, and temperature, you then win the game. But if you run out and go through all the tier 5 cards while you're waiting, then you lose the game. So there is that somewhat of a counter mechanic. But these are covering a few things here. This is a persistent, so if you can't get rid of this card every round during the crisis phase, the temperature is going to go down 1. And then here, this immediate effect is what happens when you immediately draw the card. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. And then here we have what you have to do to get rid of the crisis tokens in order to discard this card. So you can see this one would only have 1 crisis token here. That means that you only have to do this, complete this goal once, and then this card is discarded. Obviously, the number of crisis tokens is going to well, it's actually not that bad for a single player, but let's look. Yeah, at a 3-player count, it's going to be more. So there's that. So again, the crisis tokens are these little guys here. I'll just stacked up here, and in this case, I have to play a building tag to remove a counter. Once I do, this card is gone. So that's how the whole crisis mode works. I think it's a nice change of pace, because instead of just starting from scratch and terraforming everything up from 0, you're starting at everything being at maximum and trying to keep it there. So there we go. That is, again, for the crisis expansion. Alright, up next we have the Discovery expansion. So this will be the one that you want to pick up if you are wanting to kind of expand on the game, give you more ways to earn victory points, if you appreciate playing the game competitively, because that's really where I think this game is going to shine. And just out of the expansion, it expands the game for 4 players, but if you pick up the 5 to 6 player expansion, which we'll see next, it includes, the upgraded phase cards so that you can play up to 6 players with these upgraded components. So this is pretty straightforward, but let's just cover it anyways. So you have got, first of all, you've got some awards. So these are simply, if you can read them here, like the most science tags or most cards in play, things like that. So at the end of the game, whoever has the most of whatever, you randomly will, flip these over, shuffle them up, and pick 3 to have out during the game. These were similar to ones that were in Terraforming Mars. The top person gets 5 victory points, the second place person gets 2. Then there's these milestones here. They are essentially milestones that you're trying to reach first. So in this case, you're trying to get 3 forest tiles, 8 green cards, 9 different tags in play. So if you are the first person, again, a certain number of these are dealt out at the beginning of each game. If you're the first person, you just get that, and that is 3 VP that you have at the end of the game. If for some reason 2 people within the same phase reach a milestone, one person will get this tag, and the other person will just get a 3 VP token. They're both worth the same. Last thing on this punch out are these tag tokens, because in some of these cards they have introduced, let's see if we can find one here, a wild tag. Okay, so here's one there. There, for example, is a wild tag. So when you play this card, you need to, once you play it down, you need to clarify at that point which tag it's going to be. So it's wild up until the point that you play it. Then you're going to take one of these tokens, place it on the card, and it's locked into that for the rest of the game. Of course, we have some project cards in all colors. I think there's 30 some odd total in here, and they more play along with the gimmick of this, which is the biggest gimmick, is the upgraded phase cards. So each player color, you'll see here, has 2 new sets of phase cards. So not even just one, but there's 2 upgraded developments. Now one is not necessarily better than the other, but they do different things. The bonuses, the abilities are the same, but the bonuses are a little bit better than your standard phase cards. And throughout the game, you're going to get opportunities to upgrade these. So that's where some of these specific project cards comes into play. For example, this guy here says, instantly upgrade your phase 3 card. So you would get to take your phase 3 card and you would say, do I want this one or do I want this one? And so by the end of the game, everybody may have an entirely different set of bonuses on the bottom of their cards. I think this is a really cool mechanic just to create some diversity and asymmetry in the game. So these project cards not only introduce wild tags, but also sometimes the ability to upgrade your phase cards, as well as these new corporations here. If you want to start with these, for example, the Apollo Industry here says upgrade your phase 2 card right off the bat. So at the beginning of the game. So again, you could just shuffle these in with the rest, or if you wanted to make sure that you are getting to play with upgraded phase cards, you could just deal these 4 out to your starting 4 players. And that's pretty much it for the what was this expansion? Discovery expansion. So adding a lot of little things that add up to, feels like a lot. But you can see there's not a whole lot here, but I think this is a really good expansion. Alright, last but not least, we have the Foundations expansion, and the biggest thing with this is it's adding 5 to 6 players to the game. So if you were wanting to play this with a larger gaming group, they've got you covered. They're adding a white player color and a black player color. That's what these cubes are for there. They have one corporation added, which is fine. I think you just mix that in with the rest. And then they have some project cards here that you'll notice way down here say 5+. So you will, if you're not going to play with 5 to 6 players, you will want to take these cards out. This larger stack of phase cards here includes the base phase cards as well as the same upgraded cards that came in the Discovery expansion. So they're catching you up with all the expansions with the Foundations expansion. And then last but not least here, we've got these 2 boards which neatly tuck into. I always wondered what these little, puzzle pieces were going to be for. So if you are playing 5 to 6 players here, you're going to say tuck this like this and this like so. And let's see if we can get most of this in camera here. So all of this really does here on the left side is gives you the ability to spread out 5 to 6 player tokens, especially early on in the game when you're all going to be scrunched up. You can either be here or you can be here. It's just a way to spread it out. That's all that serves. This part up here, though, is a whole new victory condition that you need to meet. So this is the infrastructure. So not only do you need to raise your temperature, you need to raise your oxygen, you need to get all the water levels up, but you also need to build up your infrastructure to 100%. You do that by on your turn either giving up 5 heat and 3 plants or 15 credits, both of which you get to push this up. You're going to get a TR and get to draw a card. So that's that. It's nice that they didn't just add more, give you more stuff to add more players. They made the game a little bit harder since it's still a competitive game. You can't play 5 to 6 players in crisis mode, but the goals of reaching the end game are bigger, so it's going to give everybody more time at 5 to 6 player count to build up their engine and everything else. Alright, last but not least, we have our promo packs. This smaller pack here is actually cards that were present in the original Ares Expedition Kickstarter promo pack that had typos in it. So there is, 6 to 10 cards in here that they are basically saying throw out the other ones. And if you didn't back the original, I guess you get some bonus ones. So I'm not going to really go over those, but this is the promo for this second round of Kickstarter. So in case you guys were interested in seeing these, we're just going to go through them rather quickly here. See, there's a wild. Here's raise your TR step for each upgraded phase card you had. So all of these are all kind of mixing and matching across the various expansions. So I don't know what okay, yeah, they did note in their rule books here that like this one you would not include this one, or you would only include this one with a little tiny A on it if you were playing with a specific expansion. And all of those are the A and the C or the D, something like that. But they make it so that you're not going to throw in cards that don't belong. So anyways, that is going to do it for our full and detailed unboxing of the Ares Expedition expansions, Discovery, Foundations, and Crisis. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know in the comment section below. And coming up soon, we will be doing, we'll be covering these. Most likely, we'll be focusing on the Crisis expansion because it is the solo one, but I do believe we can mix in the Discovery expansion with a standard game of solo Ares Expedition. So we'll be taking a look at those. Keep an eye out for those in the future. If you're interested in those, please consider subscribing to the channel. Go ahead and give this video a thumb up. And once again, thanks for watching. Have a great day.